Welcome to the easiest and most rewarding DIY project ever, Cooper's DIY Beer. Everything you need to make 23 litres of your own great tasting beer is in your brew kit box. If you follow the simple instructions in this video, making great tasting beer is almost as easy as drinking it. Over the next few minutes, we'll take you through the whole process. Cleaning the equipment, mixing the ingredients, adding the yeast, the fermentation period, testing, bottling, and then the best bit, enjoying your beer. Whatever stage you're up to, check the screen for hints, tips, and prompts, or visit DIYbeer.com for further DIY beer instructional videos, FAQs, and more. Okay, let's get started. Before you start, gather all the ingredients for your chosen style of brew. This brew kit has everything you need to make 23 litres of premium quality beer. Pay particular attention to ingredients' best before dates. The fresher, the better. Only use water that's good for drinking. If your water supply contains a lot of chlorine, you may want to use filtered water. The most common cause for brews to fail is contamination, so all equipment that comes in contact with the brew must be cleaned to remove all visible soiling. The first time you use your kit, you can just rinse it in hot water. It's easy to take the two-part snap tap apart and simply rinse in hot water. Whenever you're cleaning your equipment, only use a clean, soft cloth that won't scratch it. For future brews, we recommend that you sanitize all your brewing equipment immediately before you start brewing with an unscented household bleach. Once everything is clean, reassemble your kit, wet the rubber O-rings, connect your tap, attach the thermometer strip, and you're ready to go. Note that it is important to find a suitable spot to keep your kit during fermentation, as we recommend you don't move it until bottling is complete. Your kit should be kept out of direct sunlight and preferably at a consistent temperature. Getting your brew at the right temperature is important, so you should do a wet run without ingredients first. Simply follow the next few steps without adding the ingredients so that you know how to best achieve the desired temperature ranges with your home water supply. Okay, now you've got your brewery set up, let's make some beer. Start by pouring the brew enhancer into the fermenting vessel, then add 2 litres of warm water to dissolve. Open the brewing extract with a can opener and pour it into the fermenting vessel. You may need to pour some warm water into the can to remove the remaining contents, then mix thoroughly using the spoon provided. Using cold water, fill up to the 15 litre mark and make a note of the temperature. Your thermometer strip may show colour in 2 or 3 panels. The middle of this range is the temperature of your brew. Continue filling to the 23 litre mark using either hot or cold water to get the brew temperature in a 21 to 27 degrees Celsius range. Try to keep as close as possible to the lower end of the recommended temperature range. At this stage, you might see some particles floating in your brew. Don't worry, we call this cold break, and it is totally normal. Next, measure the original gravity of your brew. To do this, you'll need your hydrometer. Start by drawing the brew from the tap to half fill the sample tube and then discard this first sample. Then, draw another sample with enough brew to float the hydrometer. Read the gravity scale at the meniscus of the brew and record. The meniscus is the curve at the top of the liquid. Now it's time to add the yeast. First fit the krausen collar, then sprinkle the dry yeast evenly over the surface. Do not stir, then fit the lid to the krausen collar with the lid clips. Be careful not to clip the krausen collar to the fermenter. Even if the temperature is slightly outside the recommended range, it's important to get the yeast in as soon as possible. While your brew will ferment in a wider temperature range, try to keep the brew temperature consistent and at the lower end of 21 to 27 degrees Celsius. After 12 to 24 hours, you'll know that fermentation is underway because you'll see foam beginning to occur and the brew becoming cloudy. All you need to do is make sure the temperature is consistent and leave it for a few days. During the initial fermentation period, It's important to keep the lid fitted. Removing the lid unnecessarily could introduce infection. On day 3 of fermentation, or when the foam has subsided, remove the krausen collar for cleaning. First remove the lid, then the krausen collar, then replace the lid immediately. You can place your krausen collar in the dishwasher. On day 6, measure the specific gravity of your brew again. If your sample is too foamy, you may need to degas it. Test the specific gravity each day. Final gravity is reached once the specific gravity is stable 2 days in a row. This means your brew is ready to bottle. At this point, we recommend you try your brew to check if it tastes and smells okay. If so, you can proceed to bottling. When using bottles for the first time, simply rinse with warm water. For future brews, it is necessary to clean and sanitize your bottles before use. To fit your bottling valve, just slip it inside the tap and switch the tap on full. Now you can easily fill your bottles without having to keep turning the tap on and off. It's also a good idea to place a container under the bottling valve to catch any drips. Fill each bottle close to the brim. When the bottling valve is removed, you'll have the right amount of headspace. Then add 2 carbonation drops for every 740 to 750 ml bottle. Then screw the cap onto the bottle, ensuring they're screwed on tight. Store the bottles out of direct sunlight, at or above 18 degrees Celsius for at least 2 weeks to allow the secondary fermentation to take place. After a couple of weeks, you can place your bottles in the fridge. Get them nice and frosty, then sit back and enjoy your Cooper's DIY beer. If only all DIY projects were that easy. For more how-to videos, FAQs, beer recipes, online brewing tools, including a community forum to chat to thousands of brewers across the globe and more, visit DIYbeer.com today.